The 2019 season of the Australian Ultimate League would not be possible without the support of our league partners. Today's match is brought to you by the following team sponsors.
What are your thoughts on the new set format for the league?
Makes it very interesting. You don't have much time to get the points in, and because you've only got 20 minutes, if you get down, it's really hard to get back. But it's going to be super fun, I think.
Yeah. What would you say is your team's biggest weakness, and what are you doing to try to fix that?
Our biggest weakness? Maybe we have a bit too much fun. Play with a tiny bit too much exuberance and maybe put a couple of extra hucks up than we should. But we've got such spectacular receivers that sometimes those crazy shots get pulled down as well. So you can't reprimand them too much.
What do you think your team's biggest advantages are against other teams?
Look, I think we're a real versatile team. So we're going to respond well to the defense and whatever they put on us. We've got set lines, but we're prepared to mix that up, just depending on how we respond to the team's strong defense, and on offense, hopefully we can shut them down.
Here we are, Hussey and Joy Lee, for this matchup between the Brisbane Breakers and the Canberra Freeze. I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people and the Bunurong people, who are the traditional owners of this area that is now known as the Ron Barassi Senior Oval. We've got Brisbane Breakers on defence, starting with the pull to the freeze. Who are we looking out for at the moment, Joy?
Yes, well, this is an exciting matchup. Both teams have some very fast and skillful players. We've got Brisbane in the blue, pulling to Canberra Freeze in the green. And John McNaughton here with the first pull of this match.
Ready to receive. We've got Lavis and Wallace. Lavis from Newcastle. Wallace, central, finds Moore. Moore can't find anything at the moment, swings big to Lavis, who milks the catch and looks up the line, finds Jackson. Wallace went deep, but Jackson chose under to Dennis, who makes a quick off the line, and another swing to Lavis.
We're seeing Lavis get a lot of the disc in this early part of the game, and that's to be expected with his skills and experience.
Or big defensive bid there from McGuckin. Grimmond. Moore was searching for a while there, finds Wallace, always to the rescue. Wallace goes over the top with a big curly, but it falls short, and Matsuka gets his first block of the game with an easy catch.
Easily reeled in there by Mazuka. Stoppage here. So it's an uncontested foul here on the throw. Wallace gets another chance, and there we saw Canberra working it up quite well. The field length is relatively short here compared to other types of match.
Wallace has got Dennis at the front of the stack, short two-person stack with a couple of players deep. She looks for a dump, Lavis gets free with a bit of effort, but Matsuka reads the play better and comes in with a defensive catch again. And the disc is now moving through the back with Wang finding Matsuka again on a curly swing.
2 interceptions there from Mazuka so far in this early first point of the match.
Grimmer now thinking about going over the top, but finds Simpson with a short one. Back to Matsuka centrally. He's got his whole stack upfield. Doesn't have any support behind him. He doesn't need it. He finds McNaughton with a little upside down. And McNaughton goes round the edge. Parsons, who laid out but couldn't keep hold of it.
Yeah. Good play there from the Brisbane Breakers. They really used that space well, and Parsons was open and just a tricky catch that she couldn't quite reel in there. But really interesting first point here, Huss. Both teams, when they get nearer the end zone, it's about using that space and just trying to secure that last pass. And Wallace there just with the drop.
Unable to secure. We've got Matsuka now looking for a quick goal. He's searching, he decides it's not safe, finds McNaughton behind. And McNaughton goes over the top with his lefty hammer, and it's safely brought down. That's the first goal on the board for the Brisbane Breakers, opening this game 1-0.
Yeah, and they've broken here, the Brisbane Breakers, and they'll be happy with that. Canberra looked quite calm moving it down the field with their offensive play, but we saw the explosive pace of Mazuka a couple of times in getting a couple of intercepts, and Brisbane have got some snappy movements of their own.
Yep, Canberra Freeze now, waiting to receive the ball again, and looking forward to seeing Turton here in this game. She's from the UK, from Liverpool, and she's managed to adjust her body clock by changing her schedule in the UK before she flew over. It's very committed behaviour in this AUL league. Pulls up, and Labour's receiving again. Wallace finds Dennis, and she's got a Jackson sort of went deep and then came under, and it's not an easy cut to hit. Cheng finding the D. Cheng now not really having any luck finding a teammate to throw to, so he goes around, sends one deep.
Murphy reels that in.
Pick call maybe before the throw. It was a good desperate option there, which was brought down nicely by Murphy. Let's hope this pick might help them out and help them settle on this offense a bit.
We've got a very short structure here, leaving the deep space behind for the Brisbane Breakers.
Big knifing forward swing finds Murphy, and big deep goes up from
That was McGuckin with the throw.
Not able to be pulled down. Jackson gets the intercept. Finds Moore, who's also looking deep. There's a lot of deep space here now if they want to take it for the Freeze. Jackson finds Wallace up the line, and Wallace lays a beautiful sitting disc up for Turton, the Liverpudlian. Turton looking for an easy reset, finds one in Lavis, who manages to nearly jump it in, finally finishing it off through Gavin Moore.
Lavis to Moore, classic connections, 2 tall men there, but the disc moved through many pairs of hands for Canberra. We saw some quick movement early on in that possession. The really lovely longer throw by Wallace there, just sitting it out in front of Turton. I'm really interested to see how Turton develops in this match. You know, it's always quite a challenge moving into a new group of people, let alone across the world, but she definitely looked like she had a good connection there with Wallace and other teammates.
Yeah, she doesn't look too fazed by her new situation. She looks quite comfortable. She's actually a bit of a mixed specialist. She plays with Smog in the UK, which is a mixed team, and she's really excited about the whole concept of playing with a bit more space in a 3 men, 3 women setup. Now, Brisbane Breakers on the attack.
Here we see a zone defence look from Canberra Freeze. Looks like they've gone into match. So it was a brief look at zone, and they've melted into match now.
We're seeing every other throw from Matsuka being an upside down, which is always pretty to see. Wang was striking deep there, but didn't have enough separation. Maybe she was too deep too early.
Monty on Mazuka. Mazuka goes long. Mazuka managed to reel it in there. He's a very hard man to keep the disc from, Mazuka. And Monty, definitely one of the stronger, more agile and experienced defenders. But there, Mazuka streaks long and goal for the Breakers.
Yeah, it was just behind Monty's head. She couldn't quite read that. And we'll see the connection with John McNaughton and Matsuka. They've played a lot together in the past. Matsuka now living in the US, another international representative on this in this AUL, and it's nice to see McNaughton and Matsuka having their time again. So we've got Kat Smith ready to pull. The wind is coming slightly towards the camera. It's not particularly strong, but it's definitely there. And Smith, a great puller, whipping that one to the wind side, the upwind side, fielded by Lavis to Wallace, as we've seen every receiving point this game so far. Finds Jackson. Dennis up the line. Meehan marking deeper, so allowing that under option. Some fast swinging. I'm liking this back and forth. And Lavis goes for an interesting option. He could have thrown a flat one, but he chose a slicey inside break, which Wallace found too difficult to catch.
Canberra going with offense and defense lines at the moment, and their offense line having to play quite a bit of D so far in this match.
Big break there from Ava Mueller. Now with Cheng, finds Meehan. Winds up for the huck twice. Once backhand, once flick, looks it off. Goes for the quick up the line. Doesn't get it back, but we've now got Murphy also looking deep. Chooses a nice low undercut. And Cheng is asking for it deep, but is looked off for safety. Lachlan swinging it beautifully. And Cheng popping one into the end zone. Well taken by Catherine Smith under great pressure from Turton. What a great goal.
Yeah, great play there from the Breakers. We saw them really breaking the Canberra defence and moving the disc from side to side in that field, and that's what gave that goal to them in the end. Great grab there by Kat Smith, really strong.
Yeah, it was a lovely point. And this game obviously in 3 sets, so we're still in the first set. Whoever wins this will be on the way to getting as many points as possible out of this game. If they win all 3 sets, they'll get 4 championship points. We'll see how this unfolds.
Canberra sticking with their offense and defense lines at the moment. Lavis, Wallace, Dennis and co lining up for another point.
Brett Matsuka with the pull for the Brisbane Breakers, going slightly downwind. Nice lofty pull, which sits up and looks like it's perfectly curving in. If not going out the back, it's right in the back there. Beautiful. Wallace catches it confidently, moves to Lavis. And Turton with a strong undercut. Gets it and moves it up to Moore. Doesn't have any deep options at the moment. Lavis coming back for the swing. Turton working hard. She's free all day at the moment. Simpson slowly getting the defense on. She'll need to get a bit more sprightly to control this Turton. Finds Dennis.
Yeah, so far the Breakers, as we see Mazuka lay out there, so far the Breakers have covered all Canberra's deep options quite well, and they're forced to work under and with these shorter throws.
Moore with a scuba dump. Finds Jackson. Jackson goes with the inside break to Turton. Turton lays a nice little one up for Moore, who catches under a little bit of traffic and secures another goal for the Freeze. It's now 3-all.
Yeah, smart hands there, and way to hang on to those short, piercing discs from the Canberra team.
Quite a fresh day here for all the players. Canberra Freeze obviously quite comfortable. They've got about 5 players who are actually from Canberra, and so they're actually feeling maybe a little bit overheated because it's about 13 degrees here, which is a bit warmer than Canberra at the moment. Whereas with Brisbane Breakers will be definitely feeling a little bit chilly. So hard-working points will be in their favour. We've got the big arcing pool that rolls out the back from the Freeze. The Breakers have gone with a split stack. They've got 3 handlers and 2. They've got all their men upfield, and 2 on one side, 1 on the other. So they've got a big open space in the middle, which Lachlan Murphy tries to get free in as an isolation. But the disc is swung, and now finding up the line to Smith. Smith goes for the big backhand stick.
Fantastic throw there from Kat Smith.
Finds McGuckin, who's patiently waiting for a nice option, and lays up a beautiful one for Lachlan Murphy to pluck out of the air over Spielman. What a lovely, confident goal from the Breakers.
Spectacular work. It was a very good pull there. Breakers were right in their end zone, but attacking movement from the handlers of the Breakers. We saw Kat Smith really attack that space and then got it in power position, stuck a beautiful throw up, and yeah, great work by the Breakers.
Yeah, I like the setup that they used there with 3 women handling 3 men upfield to get things going. It seemed to really suit them well. The Breakers handlers really good throwers across the board. It's really going to play in their favour in this game. And we've got a pull from McNaughton. He goes with the big flick again. Fielded nicely by Lavis to Wallace. Back to Lavis. He's got Dennis going deep, and he takes the option. Dennis not quite sure where it is yet, but she reads it and is beaten to the disc. Rachel Parsons there with a big D. She, I think, read the disc earlier than Dennis did and just stormed into it, whereas Dennis lost a bit of speed because she wasn't quite sure where the disc was. Parsons will be happy with that. Mitsuka bringing the disc in now. Has a cut from Wang, but it's not open enough. But he's now found her deep. Will Wallace read it better? Not quite, but Rosa Wang cannot clasp the disc tight and lets it ping off her hand.
Solid effort there from Wallace. The disc was flying above her, so she had a bit of ground to make up, but did enough and you know, got herself in position to get a hand on that. Canberra with most of the field, basically the whole field to work up though.
Lavis wanting a dump, gives Wallace a chance but finds nothing and just shifts one up for anything, and Mitsuka again gets an easy D. McNaughton now looking around for an option, has a look and then tries to push Grimmond up the line, McGuckin up the line. And Jackson sticks one for Lavis, who's streaking deep, calmly picks it up just outside the end zone. He's got Moore and Dennis in the end zone, but nothing's open enough for him until he manages to fake his defender onto the floor and pop one over the top. Dennis finds a goal for Freeze. It's 4-all.
Ooh, a couple of throwers there were very high in the stall counts, weren't they? Lavis there managing to just toss one up there for the goal, but we did see some turns, 2 turns, 1 from each team, where the stall count got quite high. Options were taken care of by the defense with match D. But there, yeah, we saw Canberra, a solid huck to Lavis, calm on the edge of the end zone, goal to Canberra. 4-all.
Ready on defense. Canberra Freeze. Spielman sticks a big curly one up. Monty's down first, but the disc's rolled out the back, so they've got time to set up. See if Brisbane can answer that goal. There are men bringing it up essentially the edge of the end zone. Brisbane have gone with the 3 men upfield, 3 women backfield. Mueller now with her strong breaks, doesn't have an option, swings it to Smith, who finds Meehan up the middle. Meehan finding Mueller again. Mueller going with the flick, Huck to Cheng. Cheng nicely open deep. Perry marking him under, and nice swing to McGuckin, who manages to pick it up. There's a pick call.
Canberra mostly backing their players, but there we had McGuckin head deep and get open momentarily from his defender.
And Smith up the line with a diving goal. It's Grimmond with the goal. That was a really great pickup. And fast, punchy, up the line throw from Kat Smith. Breakers take the lead, 5-4. And Canberra brought out Lavis, Jackson, Wallace, Moore, Turton, and Dennis, their classic offensive lineup. Hoping for a clean offensive point here again.
Kat Smith's having a real impact on this game so far, with her hucks and longer throws, but also breaks and just moving the disc and real penetrating options.
Disc has been pulled out the side and it's gone about 70 metres away. Ruben Berg, the game advisor, has had to make a big run to go and retrieve that. He's got it in very quickly again. Hopefully he'll get back in time to keep his eye on the game as Wallace puts it up, but doesn't execute that throw, and it turns over straight away. There's a discussion on a call, but it's retracted between Moore and Grimmond, and that was pretty disappointing turnover from Wallace. Brett Mazuka picking up, getting the disc going with a little 1-2. That was during the time, so that's the set over, and Breakers were 1 point up when the hooter went, which means they've won that set. So they're on their way to several championship points if they can keep this up, and we'll leave you here for a moment as we take a quick break and see you for set 2.
Here we are back with the Canberra Freeze and Brisbane Breakers. Canberra pulling to Brisbane, and Brisbane are 1 up. 1 set to love so far, taking the first set.
Brisbane with their 3 women back. Meehan on the disc. Throws a low one. Gets picked up. Now Murphy up the line. Meehan going deep. Cheng not getting it in time, but finds. Oh! And up the line to McGuckin.
McGuckin showing a bit of pace, but the disc was way out in front despite his diving efforts.
Yeah. It was a badly executed flick. It should have come out a lot flatter. Kath O'Neill now swinging to Dowell. Dowell with a lot of space, managing to throw a backhand. Monty sticks one up. She's got a grimace on her face. She doesn't like that how that's come out, and Cheng eats it up. But it's also picked up by Spielman. Cheng not managing to finish that D. Got to catch her Ds. Spielman now calmly lefty backhand for a goal for Freeze.
Canberra are so lucky there. As you said, Huss, Monty with the grimace on her face. The disc hung in the air for a long time, and defenders had ages and ages to get their hands on it. But bobble, ends up with the Canberra Freeze anyway. First blood to Canberra.
Perry with the goal. Scott Perry from Townsville. This is his first season in the AUL, as is the case for 6 players on the Canberra Freeze. Doesn't seem to be phasing them much. There's still high quality level of play. A lot of fresh blood into this team. Matt Dowell with the upwind pull.
The wind here has freshened during this match, and this is set 2 now. The wind coming towards the camera and from left of screen to right.
Grimmond and Matsuka at the back with a vertical stack upfield. Parsons cutting to the break side, expecting a break from Matsuka, gets it eventually through Grimmond. Up line, good catch from Simpson there, just wasn't in her path. McNaughton working hard, coming back. His players are quite far away from him now. There's an easy option to Matsuka. Dow coming on with the defense eventually. Big, nice effort from Spielman, taken down calmly by McNaughton. Swings it back centrally, getting that disc back into a powerful position. Rosa Wang finding an under. Monty just on her tail. Matsuka, swing, finds Grimmond. McGuckin.
That's Grimmond there.
That's Grimmond. Matsuka and Grimmond 1-2ing it. Beautiful connection. Up the line and round.
Matsuka really sprightly there, and a bit of 1-ing and 2-ing with Grimmond. Disc still moving from side to side. We saw Wang here with the disc close to the camera side of the field, but then very quick disc movement and a goal to the Brisbane Breakers. That's 1-1 in this set now.
Yeah, the Breakers doing a great job of staying still to allow that little passage of play between Matsuka and Grimmond. It's very, fairly underrated skill, the old standing still. It's something that a lot of teams aspire to, but in practice, everyone gets itchy on the field and wants to make their mark and move too much. But they did a great job of holding their stack. Disc back into play with big pull just outside the end zone. Wallace to Lavis again. More jinking around, trying to get open for a deep option. Eventually gets it under. Had Dennis going deep, it's not on. Good decision to keep it back. Now Jackson up the line, forcing that one to Turton. Didn't really see a clear open there, pushed it anyway. And now Smith running it back into play, wanting to get things going for the Breakers. Ooh, executes badly, straight into the ground.
Both teams playing a very high tempo game at the moment, but sometimes throwing into the wind there, a bit tough. Oh, quick goal there to Canberra.
More to Dennis.
Punishing the error from Brisbane, but again picking up the disc very quickly and running with it.
It's 2-1 in set 2 to the Canberra Freeze. finding out why Gav Moore ended up on the Canberra Freeze, and because he's a Sydney resident for many years, if not his whole life. Not quite sure of his entire background, but he claims to have been asked first by Pete Hempel, the coach, one of the coaches of the Canberra Freeze, along with Lorna Barr. And yeah, he was flattered and said yes immediately. Apparently he was asked second by the Sydney Suns, who missed out on that opportunity. Now Mitsuka in the centre of the field for the Brisbane Breakers on the attack. Around to Grimmond. There's a pick call upfield. Resetting.
We haven't seen a lot of zone from either team so far in this match. Pardon me. Canberra played a couple of points of the Arrowhead zone, but I don't think we've seen any zone so far with Brisbane. And here we have match again from Canberra.
Mitsuka looking sprightly, trying to get the disc every other throw. Wang shows the underside of the disc, but the team recovers that bad throw, and now picked up by Simpson on the far sideline. Through the middle, Parsons faking her player over Kath O'Neill. Bit of a lefty over the top. Finds McNaughton. McNaughton round the back, big open corner. Mitsuka finding some lovely space there in the messy end zone.
McNaughton seemed to have all the time in the world there. I don't think the stall count got super high, but he was able to give the feeling and the impression of just having all the time to survey his options, wait for that right cutter to pop out and find space, and just throw a lovely goal. Dom Simpson there, great catch on the far sideline, really elevated. Got a hands on it, way to secure that. The disc is popping up a little bit in these windy conditions. Two all so far in this set. Second set of the game.
Brisbane Breakers are the second youngest collection of players in this league. They're not behaving like a bunch of young ruffians that you'd expect. They're looking fairly accomplished.
Accomplished and organised. As we just see that pull sail out of bounds there. I think it was Kat Smith with the pull. Wind ever freshening in this match.
Yeah, she needs a bit more inside out on that to keep that in play. Lavis getting the brick. Looks for the big up, doesn't take it. Goes inside to Jackson, who was marked deep by Cheng. Jackson finds Turton underneath, through the middle with a slight break. Turn to Dennis. Dennis finds Lavis up the line, nearly taken away with a big bid.
There's McGuckin there on the D, really great effort, but Lavis just reached out that long arm and plucked that for the goal.
Lavis, another player with great mixed experience. He's had a long career with Piewagon, the Newcastle mixed team. Had some good results at World Club Championships with them many times. It's a great all-round player, Tim Lavis.
Yeah, very versatile player.
The Canberra Freeze have had a bit of a practice leading into the AUL with their small core of players in Canberra. Had a few hit-outs and got things rolling. Now we've got Mitsuka, the Brisbane Breakers.
Parsons there with the disc, throwing to Dom Simpson. The far sideline. What has she got here? Play streaming past her, but Brisbane, ever organised, finds Mizuka, and just a quick one down the line to Kat Smith. That was smooth by Brisbane Breakers.
It was the fastest point of the game so far. The Brisbane are calling for their team to stay on. They like what they see. They're saying, do it again. Coach Yu Ng making that call. Three all in set two.
Tight set here, Brisbane Breakers v Canberra Freeze. 3-all with the 20-minute sets. Each point really is so critical. You can't afford to let the opposition get even a couple of points on you. There's just no time to reel back that deficit.
Yeah, it's really edgy stuff. It's like the end of every game you've ever played.
Condensed into a 20-minute interval.
Exactly, every point counts. Just like in Australian rules football, every behind counts.
So this is EPC instead of EBC?
That's right. McNaughton with a big pull, going deep into the end zone. Wallace and Lavis shimming it back and forth. Lavis finding Jackson in the middle. Very familiar story here. Now Moore goes for the big to Dennis, just outside the end zone. Finds Jackson again just outside the end zone. Turton working hard to get free. She eventually gets free, but Jackson let it go too early.
Looks like we have a call that may reel the disc back. A couple of possessions ago, I think there was a travel called on Moore, and the disc is coming back.
Works out in Freeze's favour here if that was originally to be the plan. The result of that passage of play, Freeze getting another chance. After a bit of chat, they've agreed that it's going to remain a turnover.
Okay, game advisor Rubenberg clarifying that. So players where they were, and the disc will stay down in this attacking end zone for Canberra.
So Dennis just outside the end zone again. Parsons on the mark, forcing her back towards the main field of play. Jackson gets a tight open on the back and finds Wallace with a short goal, taking the Freeze ahead 4-3.
They've worked this out really nicely, the Freeze. A lot of their longer options seem to be very tightly covered by a very agile and quick Brisbane Breakers outfit, but they're finding a way to just find those shorter, very exact passes and get goals.
Okay, we've got 6 minutes left of this set, so it's getting close to crunch time. Freeze with the pull. Now will Brisbane play a speedier point this time? They've been very efficient in the last few offensive points. Meehan collecting, finds Mueller. She's got a deep cut immediately, but looks it off. McGuckin not getting what he wants. Meehan.
Murphy going now, Murphy. And what a throw by Meehan! And Murphy reels that in! Fully stretched out. What a play by the Brisbane Breakers.
Perfect throw from Lyra Meehan. She put it at Lachlan Murphy's max range. He had to make himself look impressive to catch it, and it was worth it. Tying up the score 4-all.
Brisbane Breakers will be very lifted by that. Not only was it just a point in the match, but when you have a play like that, which is so athletic and perfectly timed and well executed, I think it just lifts your whole team's spirits.
Brisbane Breakers' efficiency is really impressive here. I think Hempel and Barr will need to come up with a strategy to stop such quick goals from happening for this final set.
It is quite interesting with this set format, how it might affect team strategy. When you're on offense, particularly if you've got a deficit to make up or if you need to score a point quickly, do they have an arsenal of offensive plays in the bag to execute? This matters more than it does in other forms of Ultimate where time is not so much of a crunch repeatedly as in this set format.
Freeze back on the offense. Turton swinging to Wallace, who goes for a risky through the middle, didn't have enough height on it, and again another easy catching D for Matsuka, who gets the disc moving through McNaughton again. Most of the breakers are way deep of these handling players. Wang finds some space through the middle. Still the team is deep, but Norton goes for it anyway, finding Simpson in the corner for a goal. They've taken the lead 5-4.
Brisbane 2 in a row, and that is smooth play there by Brisbane. Quick movement, but using a combination of longer and shorter throws. And when they do get the separation with their offense, it's by a fair margin, I have to say.
Yeah. The Brisbane team looking very happy together. Lots of smiles all over their faces. Canberra have got a bit of thinking to do. Probably feeling the strangle here, as they've just lost their grip towards the end of this set. Just a few minutes remaining.
Canberra has been up for pretty much the entirety of this set, right until this point. Brisbane 2 in a row. They'd be really happy with that. McGuckin here with the pull. Big outside in pull. These fields are a little bit shorter than other ultimate fields, but perfectly placed. And Canberra with the whole field to work it up.
Yeah, not such a big deal that it's a smaller field because it's only 6-on-6 as opposed to 7-on-7. Standard ultimate Woofdorf rules. We've got Wallace here on the sideline, finding more going for a slightly risky loopy swing. Cheng doesn't really have a chance on it, and Turton now, right on the sideline, goes for a safe dump to Lavis, slices one across to Jackson, and an easy little goal to Dennis, racking up the points.
Yeah,
Dennis.
well done Canberra there. Lavis to Jackson, many throws between them. Of course, Dingo's compatriots and obviously have a good understanding between them. There we saw, I really like that break swing or a dump by Turton on the far sideline there. Calmly broke the mark to Lavis in the middle, and when Lavis has the disc in the middle of the field, options open up for you.
This is true. I'm liking the confident, fast swinging movement. No one's shy at going backwards or across, and that's really opening up the spaces, making these upfield plays easy. Tied up now at 5-all.
This is crunch time in set 2. I love it. 5-all. What is going to happen here? Canberra pulling to the Breakers. Breakers are going upwind though, and it's not too bad, this wind, but still, it's something to consider, especially when looking for a quick score.
Yeah, slightly less chance of the efficiency that they have going the other way. Big starting throw there to Matsuka, who finds Parsons. Parsons doesn't have anything upfield. Now she gets an up the line to Grimmond. Grimmond looking keen, found Simpson. Simpson and Grimmond working it now. Matsuka, big swing to him. Bit of swirling going on upfield. Matsuka goes with an over the top upside down to Simpson. Monty close on her back again. Straight back off the line, loving this quick movement into the middle. McNaughton now. Oh, doesn't read that one well. McNaughton was going for a blind throw to Parsons, and Parsons has called strip, I think, on that disc.
Abby Dawson and Parsons there, just having a discussion. There we saw Canberra were backing their plays. They were terrified of the skills of McNaughton, Mazuka and co in putting the disc long, backing their plays, forcing Breakers to come under, but Breakers no problem, just moving it amongst themselves and making ground as well.
Yeah, I feel like backing the players in the other direction is a wise move, but in this direction, I think the Breakers will be happy to take those unders every time.
I suppose it does have the effect of slowing down the offense slightly. Even if you do move the disc quickly, you have to complete a larger number of throws.
Yeah, you'd think that Dow would have the confidence to be able to make up ground and get up. Decision's been made that it was a turnover. Freeze back on offense now, but a cold drop, the first we've seen from Spielman. First of the game. Matsuka trying to get one over the top again and gets it. Finds Simpson, who just waits her ground, sticks her arms up high and beams that grin as she gets a 6-5 lead for the Breakers.
Oof, that's hard for the Freeze, isn't it? that unfortunate drop, and the Brisbane Breakers did not have far to go there. Right outside their end zone. Mizuka's range of throws there working out well for them. They've snuck that goal in.
And that was the win. The Brisbane Breakers took that set. Time went and it was a 6-5 win. We'll see you back here for the third set soon.
Okay, on the cusp of this third and final set, Brisbane Breakers v Canberra Freeze. We've got Brisbane Breakers up by 2-1, so they've got a minimum of 3 championship points so far already. Canberra want to salvage something from this game. They're going for a maximum now of 1 championship point. What can they do? I think Brisbane Breakers, we've talked about this earlier in the game, but their offense seems to be a little more penetrative and quicker, and certainly maybe just a bit more effective at the end of the day. Huss, what do you think?
Absolutely effective, yes. We're back in now. Wallace and Lavis holding up at the back. Oh, big bid from Chang, who gets that reach around D. Jackson's not sure if it was clean or if there was a bit of a foul there.
Amazing defensive effort there from Cheng. Jackson was working hard, going long, coming under, going long, coming under, and eventually decided to go with him. Cheng with the defensive effort. Looks like it was an uncontested foul. Jackson ends up with the disc, but fantastic work from Cheng there. Turton on the far sideline.
Turton goes for a nice high inside, just taken by Lavis. Murphy nearly had a hand on that. Turton now working over to the close sideline. She goes for a big, she's got a big lunge, reaches round, doesn't take it, finds Wallace at the safe dump. Again, I feel like Murphy's going to get a D on Lavis soon in this dump position.
Canberra really not making much ground here. Brisbane Breakers' defense is exceptional. Now Wallace is sick of it. She's just, she's stuck that. But yeah, played right into Brisbane's hands.
Yeah, just went behind Jackson. Wallace really needs to overthrow some of these options, but she gets it straight back. Meehan seemingly not seeing her, and Turton just strides in for a central goal. Freeze starting the set off with a point.
And thus ultimate happens sometimes, right? While we were just espousing Brisbane's defence, and they get the turn, but then quick turnover and Freeze get the first point.
That impressive defensive bid, which was a foul by Cheng. Cheng, the 24-year-old from Sydney.
Yeah, Cheng is new to the AUL as well this season, but you know, definitely making his mark and not overawed by any matchups or situations.
Cheng's keen to make the Dingoes the Australian national team one day. Perhaps this will be a great chance for him to display his skills, get seen by the selectors. Breakers now with their chance to answer that Freeze goal. Mueller reading the big curvy and takes one on her knees.
Made sure of it, Ava Mueller there.
Goes low, flick inside, finding Simpson. Zuka falling over, unable to help her out in the D, but McNaughton always available when you need him. Back to Simpson. Got Wang going deep, but it's a bit too much into that wind to look for that for Simpson. Matsuka goes again for the upside downy over the top dump, one of his favourite signature moves. And McNaughton sticks it over the top for Mueller, who thought maybe a little bit too long about laying for that and ended up looking a bit more like a trip as the disc just sails off past her face.
Not a bad option there from Brisbane. They've been very disciplined in keeping their structure. We've had cuts coming deep and under. The option emerged and just a little bit too far for Mueller as Dowell brings it back in.
Spillman picking up curly swing. Wants it back to Dowell. Dowell's got Monty deep, a little bit too early. Monty's coming back in, making some fresh space deep again. And Monty sticks it to Dawson. Nice flat one this time, and Dawson loves it! Gets her hands ready and lays for the catch. What a goal!
What a goal, Canberra! Monty to Dawson there. Monty with acres of space. Her player was backing her. She was probably 15-20 minutes free. By the time she caught that disc, she had time to assess the options and just no mark on her. Stick that long to Dawson, and Dawson made sure of that. Great goal.
Yeah, she was backing that throw, and Monty will be happy. She'll be feeling a bit more confident after a badly executed throw in I think the second set. Similar nature. This one she really pulled out flat, gave it plenty of air, enough time for Dawson to get her wheels on and scoot under it.
Yeah, and Canberra, third set, 2-0 up at the moment. They look determined. Can they carry this on?
Yeah, I'm feeling like this could well be Canberra's set. If they do win this set, they'll claim a point out of this entire matchup. Whereas if Brisbane win this set, they'll claim 4 championship points due to the first 2 sets having already gone their way. Now, Brisbane back on the attack.
Grimmond to Kat Smith. Grimmond has a lovely fluid motion, throwing motion. Parsons to Meehan, the disc moving through so many players. Meehan just sticks it long to Murphy there. Lots of space for Murphy. Couple of players, and Cheng. Wow, that was fluid and looked pretty easy for Brisbane there.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a blind throw. Meehan saw who she wanted to throw it to. Murphy didn't know it was coming yet, but because it was thrown so early and with a nice amount of loft, Murphy had enough time to go, that's for me, search around, change my direction a few times and pick it up. Very well done. Quick reply.
Yeah, no fear from Brisbane. I guess they're already 2 sets up and they think, well, we've just got to keep playing our best here, and they've got 3 championship points already in the bag. They're going for the bonus and maximum number if they can get back into the set.
Meehan now with the into the wind pull. It's actually dropped a little, the wind, so as you can see, it's an easier pull, setting up centrally over the brick mark, just beyond the brick mark. Wallace throws over the top of Jackson. Turton trying to keep it in, can't manage it. Wallace adjusting her hat in annoyance at herself for that misfire.
Yeah, quite an exuberant wind-up from Wallace there for first throw of that point. Anyway, and Meehan immediately goes for a long. Keen for Murphy, who she connected with previous point, and Lavis says, thank you very much. Not in my portion of the end zone.
Lavis's hand's definitely getting the advantage over Murphy at the moment overall. Moore with a wobbly flick to Turton. Now Wallace goes safely to Jackson this time, who sees Lavis with a bit of separation in the end zone, but he's overthrown it on the short field. Ooh, too many iron tablets for Jackson this morning.
Powered primarily by Sweets is word on the street, and they're, going downwind as well to Lavis. Lavis is quick and tall, but that disc sailed way at the back.
Now Meehan and Rubenberg, the game advisor, deciding who's going to go for a bushwalk. Ruben got that opportunity this time. The other game advisor for this game is Mabel Eldred. Her debut performance at the AUL. Quick
Murphy
swing
to Cat
across.
Smith.
Smith pings one as hard as she can, and it makes it to the end zone. And AJ with a flying, leaping D over Parsons. Great get there.
Jackson, so acrobatic and very clean. No contact there in that defensive effort. Amazing. But, lovely throw by Cat Smith.
It really was. Jackson's quite a speedy fellow and gets that ground eaten up very quickly. We've seen mostly standard matchups during this game, men on men, women on women. Jackson pulling off there to get that block. Wallace now, there's a lot of swinging, been back and forth, and Moore sticks it up to Lavis again. Lavis getting worked hard, but some deep options. It's an overthrow.
Canberra working hard and finding this downwind hucking business quite tricky. Lavis, we've seen him handle a lot, but he's going downfield, and I noticed Brisbane have changed their matchup there. Cheng on Lavis now, whereas previously it was Murphy. We've got Cat Smith penetrating, break, swing there. Grimmond with the disc. Murphy working hard.
Yeah, Moore with a big dangling arm mark. We go up the line from Murphy, finds Meehan just outside the end zone. Swinging goal, finds Cheng. Breakers have evened it up, 2-2.
Meehan to Cheng. Wow, and this is following the same pattern that we saw in the first set. Canberra going out to a little bit of a lead, but Brisbane reeling them back in. It's almost like Brisbane kind of feel the tenor of the game and are able to just inject themselves and really counter whatever Canberra's got at the moment.
Yeah, they're very relaxed, the Brisbane Breakers. They don't mind going a few points down.
Nice work from Murphy in that point, cutting in and out. A tall guy, versatile, athletic, all over the field.
Yeah, and during that point, Smith also had an opportunity to go deep again with the throws, but went for the slightly safer big pinging inside break, which eventually led to a safer goal. It's good to see.
I wonder with this set format how much players settle into certain matchups. You would get to know another's playing style quite well if you were consistently marking up on them. But there we saw Brisbane changing up a little bit as they come down on defense. McGuckin has really charged down and put pressure on Lavis. Lavis with the second possession, but Turton there, open. To Dennis. Oh, and squeezed. Pushed by the Brisbane pressure, and Brisbane have done so well. They're right on the edge of their end zone. Mazuka says, thanks, I'll have that. In the middle of the field, disc, lots of air to McGuckin. 3 in a row for Brisbane Breakers.
Despite Moore's big wingspan, Mazuka, with a much shorter stature, manages to break on the around. Moore taking that inside channel. Might need to get a bit more active to try and cut down some of those breaks.
Yeah, I think amazing pull and run down there by the Brisbane team. McGuckin just charging down. By the time Lavis had the disc, McGuckin was right there. The turnover didn't happen on that particular throw, but, players marked up all over the place and that overall pressure building. And well done, Brisbane.
Yeah, we're just moving into the second half of this set, and the Breakers have taken the lead. So, we haven't seen Canberra Freeze come back in any of these sets. So I'm now thinking it's going to be a max 4 championship points for the Brisbane Breakers out of this whole matchup.
History would support you in that anticipated result, Huss.
Yeah, but anything can happen, recent election in Australia surprised some, but we know that anything can happen.
Dowell points to the brick mark, and as that pull has sailed out, he is going to run that in and take it from there. McGuckin on Dowell here.
Yeah, we don't see pulls being, or bricks being run in very often, but with every minute to play for here for the Freeze, I can see why Dowell chose that. Now we've got Monty in the middle finding Dawson. It goes for the over the top. It's too much. It's way too much on this short field, and even the speed of Andrew Jackson cannot get that one.
I think Dawson got a little bit excited there. You know, a couple of very clean, uncontested possessions by Canberra. She just pumped that one, and that sailed out by quite a way.
I think half a second would have helped her there. She'd have assessed the size of the space that she had left. Now Matsuka marked by Jackson. Very good matchup here, both smallish and speedy. Jackson not able to stop the inside flick from Matsuka, which floats a lot, and Dowell decides to march that one down with his very long legs. Take it, get it to Monty, who finds Jackson. Wallace in the end zone. Jackson looking for Perry, and he gets up and gets down with the disc.
Delightful play there. Jackson, it's as if to say, hey everyone, this is how we throw downwind, just lofts it into the air. And Scott Perry there, you know, elevated, but had lots of time to just let that disc hit the palm of his hand. Lovely.
Wallace was already in the end zone there, and it was pretty clear that Jackson wasn't looking for her and decided to just hedge his bets and set one up high for Perry to reach up to. 3-3 now, tied up again. Coming up to 5 minutes left in the set.
Dowell here with the pull. Previous point had hustled upfield and got a really nice clean D, really contributed. That was the, you know, what they needed, that D in order to regain possession.
Now Meehan sticks one immediately. Not sure who to, maybe to Cheng, but it was badly executed. There's a call made, however. A foul on the throw, explaining the strange nature of that throw, not characteristic of Lyra Meehan.
It's a bit of a hucking game at the moment, Huss. Both teams, you know, maybe feeling the pressure of time. Less than 5 minutes left to go in this third set and match, and just wanting to get the most, wring the most out of this game.
Meehan already eyeing up her dump option in Grimmond. She's got a bit of a triangle upfield. Doesn't get it off to Grimmond, but goes for Murphy. Marked by Dowell. Finds a very open pass and centrally. Monty hanging off her. Now Smith goes for a lovely inside break to Meehan and makes herself upfield available. Looking for it all the time. Cheng now, and a cold drop for him. Not what he wanted there, but Gav Moore decides to take the safer dump to Dowell. Big swing to Wallace. The Canberra spread all over the place. Monty with another lovely flick. Sends it deep for Dawson, who can't quite read it quick enough that time, and pressure on her from Cheng.
Yep, Cheng got over his drop very quickly and not only covered, I think Perry was it that ran deep, but then was able to effect a really good switch and just like take care of that throw.
McGuckin, nice up the line and moving off quickly. Makes himself available for the dump, doesn't come. Cheng thinks he's got Meehan, who went up the line. So it's quick turnover to Dawson, who finds a dump in Monty.
Monty slices through the middle, but Grimmond gets a kind of almost a blind D there, slaps it down and takes that.
Smith finding Grimmond centrally. The disc is staying central. We've got Kat Smith now. Goes over the top with a cheeky huck. Really like that. It was so casual, very straight, and straight to Grimmond.
We're really seeing the range of throws that Cat Smith can really pull out today. I'm loving it. Not only the slicing, penetrative swings and throws to shorter cuts, but we saw there, like, loft and timing. Really nice.
Yeah, they're the sorts of freedoms that you get as a female playing in the mixed division. Being able to ping a few more wild ones because of the larger targets of men. So Cat Smith having a bit of a field day there with those throws. (4-3) to the Breakers. Couple of minutes left.
Breakers still up here. Only 2 minutes left in this game, and Canberra looks like they've got a plan, but what's it going to be?
I hope that their plan is score in as few throws as possible and get back out there on D, because they haven't got much time left to win this only set that they've got a chance at now.
O'Neill to Lavis. Quick swing here to Jackson. All players are tightly marked at the moment. See Dennis cutting under for Lavis. Jackson working super hard. Super hard.
Oh, he saw Turton going, and it was a very good option, but he executed not perfectly. He threw a very well placed into the corner, up the line, but it had way too much zing on it for the position that Turton started in. If he'd have got that more central, I would be confident that Freeze would have a chance at this, but I think that might have been the moment that's thrown this set away.
Yeah, and there we go. It's so cutthroat here. All the Breakers need to do is hang on to this disc. If they can score, even better, but they just need to keep possession and the set, and maximum points are theirs. Mazuka to Parsons. Down the line again, McGuckin. Only 2 plays in front of him here. The other and McGuckin just pumps it. Oh! Just shy of Wang. The other Brisbane players were keeping out of that space. Only 2 plays in front of him. He just thought, yeah, I'll give that a go.
So we're into the last few seconds of the game. With the Breakers up 4-3. Freeze must score if they want to keep this set alive. Otherwise, the Breakers take the set automatically. So let's hope that O'Neill hucks it here. Nope, we've got AJ.
I think it's maybe a foul on the mark there. Just the last remaining seconds of this match.
Yeah, time has gone.
Currently, Brisbane Breakers are up by 1, so we're going to play this and finish this point.
Dennis has gone. No, Neil's put it up to her. Dennis has read it, but so has Mueller. Mueller read it better. Got the D.
Two evenly matched players there in terms of height, and Mueller there.
Brilliant touch by Kath O'Neill to take that away from McNaughton. Great D. Freeze still in with a chance. Keeping the set alive. Moore finding Jackson, and now Lavis. All the women upfield. Goes for Dennis. Turton working hard. Just open under, but Mazuka did a poaching. And a great touch from McNaughton, but not good enough to keep it away from Lavis. Oh, great pressure from Wang, who stops O'Neill from taking that one.
This match is delivering in this late stage. Oh, I love that. Mazuka peeling and covering the open cut by Turton, and McNaughton laying out, getting a touch on that swing throw, but not enough. Anyway, Mazuka down the line.
Touched by Moore, maybe.
Touches on the disc everywhere.
Touch, touch, touch. Every touch counts. Everything counts, really. But every touch counts is currently my favourite in this game.
Moore, big swing to Lavis.
Lavis has enough time to check if anyone's coming on and just lets it sit into his hands. Jackson not looking deep yet. Kath O'Neill setting the stack. Dennis casually coming down underneath. And slicing and inside to Lavis. It's over his top. He's got enough time to read it and just keep it in. So that's Freeze getting even 4-all. They still have a chance to get a championship point out of this game.
So as that point, that goal tied up the third set, we're going to see one more point played here. And I think this is great. Freeze haven't got any championship points so far. Brisbane Breakers having won the first 2 sets, and this is good. They've clawed their way back in, and yeah, I reckon let's go Freeze. Let's see what you can do.
We are now entering double set point.
Double set point.
Now Canberra Freeze will be wanting to get more than just touches on this defensive run. They'll be wanting to get touch and holds and get that disc back into their possession. The coach of Canberra Freeze is looking hugely excited. Pete Hempel and Lorna Barr.
I've just seen a hat spike occur, Huss, from one of the coaches of Canberra Freeze. I won't say which coach. Cat Smith here, central position with the disc in her hands. Grimmond, back to Cat Smith. And pumps it. Oh, it's given it a bit of loft. Cheng underneath it, and Cheng pulls it down. Wow. Brisbane Breakers with the win and the maximum 4 championship points. And, you know, Cat Smith, how classy is she? You know, got a couple of throws there and then just all the confidence in the world. Saw Cheng put it up, perfect timing and perfectly placed.
Yeah, I think efficiency won Brisbane Breakers the game there. The points that they scored quickly really played in their favour, and Freeze only really had one chance, even though it was a very close to watch matchup. The Brisbane Breakers just looked a little bit more relaxed throughout the game and had a few more smiles on their faces, definitely by the end. 4 championship points. Claire Hussey here and Joy Lee signing out from this Brisbane Breakers versus Canberra Freeze AUL game.